ladies, it's your girl Aychristene, and today we are checking out the top 7 most common phobias by Psych2Go. Link for this video is in the description box below. I am instantly nervous, and I want to know what's the most common. Oh, let me guess. Arachnophobia? A 7? You know what? I just realized that I don't... Maybe okay, I'm not going to say phobia because I don't know all the phobias, by their phobia name, but maybe, okay, fear of death is probably one. Fear of being alone is probably another. Okay, I've got 3 more. So I said fear of spiders, fear of death, fear of being alone. Did I say I have 3 more? I have 4 more. I can count. I don't know. Okay. Well, I thought it would be easier than it was. It's not. Let's find out what the most common 7 phobias are. Link down below.
Friends, a quick thank you from us to you before we start. We want to let you know how much we appreciate your continued support and thirst for knowledge. So, let's continue our brave march to learning about psychology.
Calming.
Fear. You felt fear. It's a dark night and you're watching a horror movie.
So I go to sleep.
You scream or jump a little when a scary scene comes up.
Or
you're plunging down the big drop on a roller coaster and your palms are sweating while you yell from the thrill.
Goes to your chest.
We're not talking about that kind of fear. Sometimes fears become excessive and irrational to the point where we can't function normally.
That's the one of not going outside.
The intense worry and avoidance caused by these fears can interrupt day-to-day living, causing panic when that fear is encountered. That's when the fear becomes a phobia. Phobias are classified into 3 types: social phobia, agoraphobia, and specific phobias. Specific phobias are further grouped into 5 major categories: environment, situational, animal, blood, injection, injury, and others. A 2017 study found that over 10% of adults in the United States alone struggle with phobias. This makes phobias the most common psychiatric illness among women and second most common among men. Curious if you have a particular phobia?
Oh, I know.
Let's look at the 7 most common phobias.
Let's see. Come on, tell me later.
Arachnophobia.
I knew it!
The 8-legged nightmare.
We ain't gotta show it. I said I know it.
The most common phobia in the world is arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders.
Okay. Oh,
this
Lucas,
phobia affects 3.5 to 6.1% of the global population, meaning around 300 to 400 million people are affected each year.
Oh, that's
Women
cute.
are twice as likely to have arachnophobia when compared to men. However, 55% of people may harbor some fear of spiders, just not a full phobia. Researchers Oman and Maneka believe that arachnophobia may be rooted in our evolution.
Really?
Allegedly, our ancestors found their appearance frightening and viewed them as a threat of food and water contamination.
Frightening.
2. Ophidiophobia.
What is that?
Do you hear hissing? Because I hear hissing.
Snake.
Have you seen something out of the corner of your eye that's long and sinuous and froze in fear? Maybe you can't catch your breath and your heart hammers in your chest when a friend shows you their Snake of the World book. If so, you just might have Ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes. Ophidiophobia is the 2nd most widespread kind of specific phobia.
Really?
With around 1/3 of adult humans reporting to be suffering from it globally.
Oh, wow.
Similar to its siblings, arachnophobia, the fear of snakes is believed to be rooted in the primitive drive to survive. Snakes are typically perceived as a vicious and dangerous creature.
Yes, because they are.
Additionally, personal experiences and cultural influences may also play a part. As studies have shown that in places where snakes are less common, more cases of Ophidiophobia were reported.
Really?
It's no wonder. Snakes often take a starring role in various movie scare scenes and fear-facing reality shows.
So wait, that's interesting. No, but that's interesting. What's Acrophobia? Well, we'll learn in a second. That is interesting, that correlation, that in places where the population is less, there's more fear. You know what? It actually makes sense. Because I was thinking, if you don't really see them, why would you be afraid of them? But that's exactly why, because you don't see them so often. So you're not, people aren't used to it. Whereas if it's places where snakes are common, or super, super common, it can be less of a jaunting type of fear if they're used to seeing them all around. versus in other places where you don't see them that often. I would say that's the case for me, because I remember when I was walking in this neighborhood, and I'm not used to seeing snakes as much as I used to. When I was younger, I was used to seeing snakes. So I wasn't extremely terrified. It was kind of just like, oh, I see you, I'm out type of thing. But I saw one when I was walking, and it was like slithering across the street, like from the same side that I was walking. And this is on my way back. So I was just like, oh my gosh, was it there when I was passing this whole time and I didn't notice because I was jamming out to Bruno Mars while I was walking? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to be more vigilant. I need to look. I need to make sure there's no snakes around. So I get it. I get it now.
Acrophobia. Glass elevator? No thanks. I'll stay on the first floor.
Is it?
Affecting more than 6% of people globally,
elevator?
The fear of heights is another common phobia many
heights.
of us have.
Okay.
This phobia's official name is acrophobia.
I never knew that.
No, we're not prejudiced against
acrobats.
acrobats or other high-flying performance professionals.
Okay.
Intuitively, it makes plenty of sense why we'd learn to be afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
The research alleges that this phobia may be the result of an evolutionary adaptation, like many things.
Which makes sense.
This adaptation developed to help keep us from falling to our deaths.
Mm-hmm.
A little of this can be helpful to prevent us from taking unnecessary risks.
Right.
However,
like crazy
if it gets out of hand and escalates, it could lead to extreme daily difficulties. You might have a severe aversion to common structures such as bridges, towers, steep staircases, and other perceived high places for fear of triggering a panic attack. So, take a deep breath, grab a buddy, take it one small step at a time, and let's look at the next phobia. Or, Aerophobia. AKA, so how long will it take to get from California to Tokyo?
Airplane.
By car? Aerophobia refers to the fear of flying.
It's hard for me.
And it affects around 10 to 40% of American adults.
Yes.
Are you thinking right now, sure, humans don't fly naturally, so fear of flying is understandable? Well,
no, but my reason's different. I'll see if she's going to say what my reason.
Aerophobia is actually logically irrational, given that airplane accidents are so rare.
Logically
Statistics
irrational?
report that traveling by plane is actually much safer than traveling by car. Nonetheless,
they say that, but,
people with aerophobia avoid flights as much as they can, which can be problematic for work requirements or long-distance relationships. 5. Cynophobia.
Oh, she didn't say, so, because in the other one she was saying about, like, you know, DNA or this is the reason. For me, my fear, it's the lack of control and the risk, right? If I'm driving a car, and yes, anything can happen, but when I'm driving a car, I'm in control of this vehicle. So I have better handle on what I'm doing. It's easier. I'm controlling it. Everything is better that way for me. But if I'm in a plane when some other dude that I ain't never met, and I couldn't tell you in a lineup from Sally or Sam or Charlie, okay? I can tell you who's who. I don't know you for you to trust that you will get me in the air, okay, where I can, that's just, right now I'm getting anxiety from that. Like, even if somebody's driving, like Uber drivers or stuff like that, or even if my husband's driving, I'm more vigilant, like watching. But when it's cars, I understand cars. I understand how they work. I know the route that we're going to some degree, or at least I can GPS it. I can get it. Planes, I'm not flying it. I'm not up there with them, like watching to make sure they doing what they supposed to. I'm stuck in the back with all these other crazy people. So it's hard. It's very hard for me.
Did you say puppies? I think you pronounced demon hound wrong.
Oh dear.
Puppies.
Is it?
Doggos. Happy wagging
People
tails and
dogs?
those soulful eyes and those sharp, pointy teeth with their scary sheen. Wait, what? Let us remember again.
I think a
that
healthy
phobias
fear of
are,
dogs,
by
though.
definition, irrational. The fear of dogs, official name Cynophobia, may be less common than the fear of snakes and spiders.
Okay.
However, it can be just as, if not more, debilitating. Just consider how many pets and stray dogs are present in any given neighborhood. That kind of prevalence makes it virtually impossible to avoid them completely. Unfortunately, this means cynophobes experience intense and frequent dread, anxiety, and even panic.
Yikes.
Cynophobia could be caused by a traumatic childhood experience, such as being chased or bitten by a dog that was never addressed or otherwise fully resolved.
You know what's crazy? Last night I had a dream that me and my family, because this just brought that up. We were at some type of party or whatever, and my mom went to sit out on because it was in an apartment, I believe, or a building where one of the floors you could just go out and there was like a seating area just out there in the building, but high up, but it's outside. Hopefully that makes sense. It wasn't a balcony because it connected to another building. Maybe it, y'all, I don't know. Anyways, she sat down and there's this big old, remembering now, it's absolutely ridiculous. This huge white and purple dog. It was a white dog with like a purple shade and then purple spots on it. And then she was sitting there and this dog literally went up and then like opened his mouth like completely wide and then chomped down on her leg. And I was like, Mommy! I was like freaking out. So even though I've never been bitten by a dog, I've been nipped at by a dog, but I've never been bitten by a dog. But that dream, I'm like, bruh, dogs are scary. But I'm not
Getting
mortified
proper help and
dogs.
following professional therapy advice could
avoid
not only make day-to-day life more livable, but allow you to revel in the wonderful world of dogs.
I can pet dogs if you assure me that they're not too hyper.
Trypanophobia. Would it be possible for me to take all my vaccinations in
Trypanophobia. I thought it was trypophobia.
Next up, we have trypanophobia, the fear of injections.
Oh.
Ever seen the huge, strong sports guy break out into unprovoked tears when it was his turn to get vaccinated at school? Or seen the undisputed tough girl pass out when being asked to donate blood? Maybe they have trypanophobia. While it's normal to be afraid of injections as children, statistics report that the fear persists in approximately 20 to 30% of adults, escalating to become trypanophobia.
But there's so many
stringently
people who
avoid
need
medical treatments, hospitals, and doctors.
Injections.
As you can imagine, this is incredibly risky to their health. How bad can it be, you ask? Well, the fear can be so intense that most would faint at the mere sight of a needle.
Oh, gosh.
An interesting bit of trivia.
Then you can inject them faster.
Trypanophobia is the only kind of specific phobia that is found to run in families. And 7, Mysophobia.
What's
Antibacterial hand gel? Check. Gloves? Check. Hazmat suit? Check.
What?
Maybe I need a bubble. Lastly, another common phobia shared by many, and even some well-known celebrities, is Mysophobia, better known as the fear of germs.
Germophobia.
The term was first coined in 1879 by psychologist William Hammond, who believed that Mysophobia was a symptom of OCD. This has since been debunked by the discovery that most people who have Mysophobia aren't actually OCD. Mysophobia can manifest as excessive cleaning, compulsive hand washing, and extreme avoidance of bacteria and germs, such as frequent or constant use of gloves, face masks, and other perceived germ-blocking attire.
I get the anxieties in public places,
Mysophobia can cause people to become shut-ins, cutting themselves off from the outside world for fear of being contaminated. So, in the end, where do phobias come from? Well, according to the American Psychological Association, phobias typically emerge during childhood or adolescence, persisting into adulthood.
Which is
Phobias,
funny because
unfortunately, are usually not solo travelers. It's more likely to have multiple phobias than just a single one.
True.
Also, we have seen here that some are more common than others. Do you relate with any of these?
Yes,
Do you know someone who does? This has only shown some of the most
I do. For arachnophobia. I've got arachnophobia because spiders are disgusting. I'm even, as we're saying this, looking around my room, and I remember when we were in biology class, my teacher put on Arachnophobia as a movie for us to have a movie day. He was a cool teacher, but that's kind of a jerk move. But this is why he put it on. Not because he wants us to learn about arachnophobia and see all these crazy people. I'm not going to remember the movie because I just thought of a scene that I remember and I just... Okay, anyways, focus. While we were watching the movie, homie was walking around with a piece of string and running it up people's necks when the spiders were on the screen. And he did that to me. I freaked out. I screamed so loud. Everybody was like laughing so hard. Thank you, teacher. But it's arachnophobia. I still have that to this day. the fear of heights, it's not, it's only, I wouldn't say it's, I'm not at a phobia level with it. I'm at a healthy level with it. Like, if I'm on a rooftop, I'm nervous about looking over the edge because I don't want to fall off. So I'm kind of like, ugh, about it. Roller coasters, I'll go on, like, SheiKra, which is in Busch Gardens, and it's super freaking high. I think, 200 feet in the air, and a straight vertical dive down. And when we're hanging off the edge there, my heart has moved and is right here. And then when it happens, if I close my eyes and I'm flying down, it's kind of peaceful. But with my eyes open, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. So it's just normal stuff. So I think I'm okay with that. The germ one, it's more so for me with, like if I go to a hotel, and this is, we're not going to go into a long story about it, but a couple years ago, a particular hotel that I was at was so disgusting, I didn't even want to sleep. I was going to sit down, just not move. You can ask Charlie about this. He was laughing. I think he videotaped while I was sitting there. My brother's passed out. My husband's laying down, and I'm just like, I don't want to move. I ain't going to move. I just want to sit here. But, yeah, it was traumatizing. But in public at hotels, I'm germophobic, but at my home I'm okay, and at other places that are in public I could be fine. But it's just, I guess it's centralized around hotels. Nonetheless, let me know if there's any fears that you think should have been on this list, and if any of these affect you. Can you relate to these, and do you know why? Like, does it click for you like, oh crap, this is the reason I have this fear? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you like the video, check out the link in the description box below to support the Psych2Go people. If you like this video, hug the like on that like button. I love you guys as always, and until next time, buddies. Toodles!